And now, we bring you the latest reports on Boss Tweed and his affiliation with Tammany Hall. There has been many a shenanigans that has been reported about this incident, and we are... We now bring you the latest reports on Richard Nixon and the Watergate scandal. Here is the Watergate. Haha, just kidding. This isn't actually the Watergate. Let's start off with some basics. The Watergate scandal refers to a series of events that took place in Washington, D.C. in the early 1970s, revolving around Richard Nixon and the attempts that his administration made to gain an unfair advantage in the election of 1972. As we know, Richard Nixon won the election of 1972. He defeated his opponent, Mr. George McGovern, in a landslide victory. However, the Watergate complex was found to have been robbed, burgled, broken into, and bugged with secret listening devices, as seen here. The men are arrested by the FBI. Here is a newspaper headline demonstrating this. The most important thing to take away here is that these men had been given large sums of money by Nixon campaign affiliates. Truly a scandalous thing indeed. Here is a picture of Senate Resolution 60. Oh, that's not it! Here it is. This is Senate Resolution 60. But before we get into this, there are important things to discuss, such as our two primary journalists covering the matter, Mr. Bob Woodward. You see, Bob Woodward was one of the two reporters who were the first to report on the arrests that occurred at the Watergate complex, the second being Mr. Carl Bernstein. Mr. Carl Bernstein was the second of the two reporters to report on the Watergate burglars. They were also the first to put the pieces together to figure out that all the men had been receiving large sums of money from affiliates of the Nixon re-election campaign. Okay, now that we've covered the important reporters, Bob Woodward and Carl Bernstein, let's talk about the important things that happened. Senate Resolution 60 was... Well, before I get to that, I'd like to discuss the Attorney General, John Dean. You know, John Dean totally knew something was up, but at first he refused to give testimony to Congress. Senate resolution was put into effect before this, so I'll finally tell you what it is. Ready for the big reveal? It was authorization for a committee to investigate all the dealings and shenanigans that were afoot by cause of Nixon-affiliated peoples and persons. Sure enough, the people heard wind of the situation in Washington. And what did they do in the election of 1972, you ask? Well, they re-elected Nixon. The Senate is now beginning hearings on the Watergate break-ins. A few months into the trials, John Dean agrees to testify before Congress. Here we see him being sworn in before his testimony. Nixon, of course, heard this and was very angry, so angry, in fact, that he fired John Dean. The spot of Attorney General was now vacant. Now this other guy, Andrew Butterfield, well, He sure was something. He was a deputy assistant to the president, and he revealed to the Senate a network of secret recording systems Nixon put into place inside the White House. Nixon refused to hand them over to Congress. Here is a picture of a dog. And here is a graph depicting Nixon's approval ratings in yellow, and in blue, the line that depicts how many % of people wanted him to be removed from office. As you can see, one picture is far better looking than the other. At this point, Nixon is really mad with his employees. So mad, in fact, that he fires a whole load of them. The press called it the Saturday Night Massacre. No one was killed, but a lot of governmental officials were put out of a job. If you're Nixon right now, you look really bad. The Supreme Court then told Nixon that he must hand over the recording tapes from the White House. Nixon was shocked. Here is Christian holding an Xbox. Wait, what's this? I see the House is drafting articles of impeachment. Oh my goodness, this is huge! Well, I don't know what to think of it. It looks like they've filed for obstruction of justice, misuse of power, and contempt of Congress. Scary stuff indeed. He resigned 3 days later. LOL. The moral of the story, you ask? If you do bad stuff, there are gonna be bad consequences. You don't want to have to face them the way that this guy did. And as he said, his famous line, he left, and he resigned.